Hello. This is my last video in my Little Villages structures that I'm doing, and it's going to be contracts and employees and the amenities that I would suggest you do when doing the Little Village structure. And this is how I have kind of figured it out. So just ideas that I'm sharing. How will this process be regulated from a governmental point of view within your new party? The company's yearly rental of the land will be inclusive of the costs form. If these companies got together and decided that they wanted to create a party, they will need to create a standard employment contract for all the businesses within the Little Villages structure. The contract should include, this is roughly what I would put in it, each employee gets paid 5,000 Rand, a minimum salary. Of that 5,000 Rand, 1,000 Rand is put away towards retirement for the employees. I've previously discussed how important it is that people get off the government funding for retirement. They need their own retirement funds and their own pension funds. They're obviously going to get the RDP housing. They will get cellular devices that don't give them access to the internet, so they can start learning and kind of become involved with worldly issues. They can educate themselves through a proper cell phone. There are going to be schools in these little village structures that are going to need workers, so teachers. There are going to be doctors within these little village structures or clinics for the people within the communities for the little village structures. You're going to want to pay those doctors and nurses well so that they can look after these people that are your employees. There's going to be social services. Obviously that will be a government thing, but if you're a part of the government, there's going to need to be social service branch, maybe a SARS branch and banking machines. Try and give the people yearly increases so that they are at least above the inflation rate. I would say obviously the retirement plan. If possible, make sure that the businesses have a canteen. Maybe even the schools in the area have a canteen so that the people can eat Monday to Friday, maybe 2 simple meals a day, pap in the morning, a dish of some sort for lunch, so that the children and the people can eat, and that will also help reduce the amount of money that you need to pay them in the salaries. And obviously they're getting their housing then paid for, their medical paid for, their good portion of their food. I'd also have little gardens that maybe you just need gardeners to maintain, and these little gardens can just have like a vegetable patch for gardening for these people. And obviously there's going to have to be cleaning of the playgrounds, and that the same gardeners can do that. Lots of the people in the informal areas like this have animals. There can be like a little shed or fenced off area for their herd and cattle, and then maybe even a little chicken coop so that they can have chickens and eggs and have their own little self-sustaining ecosystems. You are trying to create a little ecosystem that these people can go to. Another good thing that you could do is maybe as a sort of increasing thing to attract them is start STEAM. I spoke previously about STEAM, the technical colleges. Do STEM technical colleges for the children. So when the children are graduating high school, they don't know where to go. Create technical colleges that you can send them to with the STEAM initiative, and you can use that as a company sort of deductive when doing taxes, that you are benefiting or paying towards a cause, and the cause can be these colleges for the kids that are within your community that are your workers' children. Obviously, you're going to be using the new hydro vehicles when they are made to reduce the emissions, as I've previously discussed. And maybe just update the rental agreements every 5 years and try. I don't think the idea is to bleed the companies dry that are renting the properties. I think it's to create a community within these little rentals that allow for the people to live as best as possible with as many amenities, so that they don't have to be traveling to the big cities anymore. This ideology that we have, that everyone needs to live in the city center, and city center life is best when there is such a shortage of jobs, but there is so much land available out there where people could be living comfortably, is a great thing to look towards. Obviously with farm murders right now, that is not something we can do, but if you had a government that actually prevented that from happening, that stopped that and stopped poor behavior, also putting in a SAPS branch in each of these little villages just to keep the peace, maybe have those security companies involved, have a little mini security branch with 2 or 3 guys, 2 or 3 cops, just to maintain the structure of things. There you go. There's your little village. And imagine 4 or 5 companies, a farming company, a textile company, supermarkets, all these in these little villages, how much money would you make? The government would pay for the RDP housing through the rental of the land. How many jobs would we create just with these little structures? And why aren't we doing it? That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for watching.